Today, I want to share a story of a moment that I'm not so proud of, but want to show you. And by sharing, I hope that you encourage yourself to forgive yourself for what you don't know, forgive yourself when you do make a mistake, and always learn that you can grow through what happens, even if it's a really hard feeling. So, yesterday, my daughter was doing a practice 5K for a program that's called Girls on the Run here in southern Wisconsin. And it was a practice 5K, 3 laps around this track. I had the 2 younger kids with me. There was a park that the kids were playing at while she was running. And we were cheering her on at different parts of the lap. And then it was coming to the end where she was getting ready to cross the finish line. And instead of being there for her in that moment, cheer her on, get excited, give her a hug, tell her how proud I am, I was lost on my phone. I was distracted with the kids asking me questions. And it was one of those moments where you just like, God, I don't want to be here right now. Those moments are real. They don't happen often, but they do happen. And I think they're all part of our dad's story. I think they're all part of this idea of growing through what we need to grow through all the things we talk about in this podcast. Figuring out that life isn't meant to be perfect. My goal with this podcast isn't to create a perfect father in you. My goal is to create a mindset that allows you to grow into the ideal dad, repeated over time, over the next 40 years. Because fathering and daddying don't just end when the kids leave your house. It's a lifelong process. And that as long as you're above the dirt, they're always looking for advice, leadership, help, support, encouragement, whatever it may be. That job doesn't end. And while yesterday really sucked, the conversations with my daughter, because she was equally upset with me and called me out on it, that I wasn't even there and that the coaches were supporting her more than I did, that really hurt. Now, her words weren't hurtful, but the truth of it did. Now, part of last night, I got a little bit down on myself. I was hard on myself, but I realized I can make it back up because I went into my toolbox and I was like, what's something that I could do to really show her and validate a truth that I do love her, and that in that moment I didn't express it, but that I do. And so this weekend, we're going to do a date. We're going to go winter coat shopping at Kohl's, and we're going to do Subway, which is something that she's been asking to do as a date between us. Those moments that I know, because kids spell love Time, those are the moments where I can recoup, have a conversation, and learn to grow. Because, well, in this moment, she was upset with me, and she really didn't like how I showed up. But for her to see that I grew through it, that I didn't just like tear myself down, I didn't go into a 30-day funk because of it. My ability to demonstrate a growth through it is something that hopefully, it's not something that she's going to see instantly, but she's going to see over time as she runs into things in her life that you just grow through it. No matter what happens, no matter what we can do, as long as we remain calm, as long as we look and see what went wrong, we can find solutions. So I'm not going to guarantee that something like this won't happen again, but I'm definitely going to have a better mindset. I'm definitely going to go in with it, making sure that I have better boundaries, because that was something else that I wasn't doing really well, and making sure that those boundaries are in place before those moments are missed. And so I hope that this episode, 1, gives you permission to acknowledge something that maybe you have a similar story that you're kind of a little bit stuck on, or that you haven't moved past on, or you haven't forgiven yourself on. Because just because I talk about this stuff doesn't mean I have it right. And almost every day there's something that I mess up, or just try to do better next time. Fathering and daddying are these ideas that are these lifelong pursuits. And I'll be back again with you guys tomorrow.